Likutei Torah, Pinchas, page 150. 9 lines from the end of the first column. Okay, the Alter Rebbe is explaining the difference between this world and Olam Haba. Therefore, this world you have free choice to do mitzvahs and not to do mitzvahs. In the world to come, it's too late. What you did in this world, you can't change. You can't do tshuva in the world to come. You can only do tshuva here. And he explains because the world to come is called Memaleh Kol Almin. It's a level of godliness. It is what it is. And therefore, it's classified already. It's identified. It's done. You can't change it. In this world, it's Seviv Kol Almin. There's no top, there's no bottom. And therefore, this world, everything can be changed. And he said, that's what we're up to now. The Erdin till 9 lines to the end of the first column, 150. The Erdin till Baruch Atma Seviv Kol Almin, but that level of Elokus, which is Seviv, the encompassing level, Shavel Mashra Katan V'Godel. In that infinite level, high, low, dark, light, it's all the same thing. The Malachim Shalom, the Malachim asked the question, Ayim Ekem Kveidei, right? Where's Hashem's glory? And the answer is, Malach Haaretz Kveidei. The whole world is permeated with Hashem's Kedusha. Therefore, because this Elokus is so infinite, even while it comes down low, 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 it could still be elevated to high, 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 because over there in that level, there's no high or low. Not only that, but the end is wedged in the beginning. And the contrary, the lower it falls, shows that it comes from a greater place. Or we say in Likutei, Seif Ma'aseh Machshava Tchila, the end of action was in Machshava first. What does that mean simply in Likutei? Adam Rishon was created the last of creations, but that was in thought first, meaning the whole purpose of creation is for Adam Rishon. So therefore the whole purpose of creation was mankind, and therefore they were created last. Again, it's last means it's the lowest. So it's the highest and the lowest. So he's a hain ve'inyin kimo shalam avur le'il. The marshal that he brought before. She'ev shalasis meragol rosh, that it can't change a foot into a head. It is a foot, it can't be a head. Hainu ba'olam haba shul olam border, it's already a refined world. Shen the kefran is by it's already refined. V'chol davar mekayme. And then everything is in its proper place. The head is a head and the foot is a foot, and you can't change it.
So in this world we can change it.
Which is before refinement, which is it's like a baby before it's formed, before 40 days. In this one sperm, semen, one drop, okay, the tipa srucha as it's called. Yeah. This one drop, when it comes into the woman, yeah, it has the head and the foot in it, in the same thing. There's no head yet and there's no foot yet. Like the Gemara says in Brachas before, that within the first 40 days you could daven, it should be a zocher in the keva, because then you could change it. Why could you change it? Because it's not defined yet what it is. So Olam Haba is like the tipa before it's formed. But after it's formed, once it's a zocher already, you can't daven, it's going to be in the keva. It's not going to work.
Amazing the power of
okay, base. That's the whole concept of tshuva. Like he said, the Zohar says, tshuva is returning. What does it mean returning? Through sin, the level of kedusha goes all the way down into klipa, and therefore what it is to return it to the source. To wedge the end of the beginning, meaning the fact that it fell down so low, the kedusha through your sin fell down so low, so that makes it able to go even higher than before. Because the higher the thing, the lower it. 1 second. Kizasha yard mata is the level of mamala kol almin. This, that the level of kedusha through sin falls all the way down. Shit comes from malchus kol elamim. Umalchus ebakel mashallah, and Hashem's malchus controls everything. Shemizanim shechishtal shesamadregas me'elam adel, and that level of tzimtzum through malchus makes it shtal shesoilemis. There's Atzilus and Bria and Yitzir and so on. Shekol masha yerid mata. The lower it falls, yeridum ismayit. Bechinas gili earnings of baruch is less kedusha. Like we learned the other day that in the 4 worlds, what differentiates Atzilus from Bria, from Yitzir and Asiyah, is just the amount of Elokus which is revealed. There's no change in Elokus. It's like the light. You put 1 blanket, 2 blankets, 3 blankets. That's only change as far as the onlooker goes. As far as the order goes, there's no change. Shagiluli is bechinas bittul. That the gilui cannot be in the level of bittul. Sherin shav sherim is gala elabamisha. So therefore, because Bria is not as bottle, Yitzir is less bottle, Atsi is less bottle, so therefore, bottom line is, the level of Kedusha is more concealed. Because Kedusha can only rest on something that's bottle. So therefore, Atzilus, which is a tremendously great Gilui, in the level of Biyichud, Bittul, V'yichud Gomer, it's completely bottled to Hashem. And therefore it comes down from there, L'Elam HaBriya, which is Bittul Eina Be'erech Elam Atzilus. The level of Bittul of Bria, and therefore because it's less Bittul, because it feels less Elokus, so therefore less Elokus is automatically revealed. But V'tachas Yedid some Madregas the Kedusha, but Madregas Tachtein the Asiyah, the purpose of the Madregas of Kedusha is to come down into Madregas Asiyah, which is a level of bowing by Meidim. Shazeh Amar Azal, Mandalei Kara b'Meidim. Whoever doesn't bow and Meidim won't get up to Chis HaMesim. What means Shlei a Gia that doesn't even reach the level of Bittul. That means you're so coarse, you're so thick, you're so grob, right? That you can't have even the Bittul of Meidim. Hadez a Nasa Nochash. Gemara says if you don't bow by Meidim, you don't get Chis HaMesim, you become like a Nochash, which is Klipa v'zitracha, u'v'zei amru, that the lo yokum et Chis HaMesim. You don't get up at Chis HaMesim. Why? Because you have totally no bittul. You can't even bow by Meidim. That means you're so full of yourself, even to bow by Meidim is difficult. Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Yeah, but the snake is always bound. It's always flat and bound.
No, it's not bad, bowing. So it's flat, it's not bottle. Its feet go into death. What's meaning? But spiritually, what does it mean? It goes down all the way down. That Elokus first comes into Klipas Nega, then it even goes into Shalosh Klipas HaTameis, because Shalosh Klipas HaTameis is also existing from Kedusha. But the way, not only it comes down in a way that Shalosh Klipas HaTameis is anti-Kedusha. Shalosh Klipas HaTameis is complete evil. Right? So that, even that level of Kedusha comes down to give it existence. Therefore, what's the purpose of Teshuva? The Koyach HaTeshuva. She'od and Bechinas Seviv Kol Almin Yosef HaChayis L'Mkerei. The life goes back of Elokus to its source. V'nor Sefer Mitchilasan, which is the level of Sapcha Chasheichel L'Neira, or the transformation of light, darkness to light. So the Alter Rebbe is explaining, we say before that Teshuva can help in this world, only in this world. What's the whole inyan of Teshuva? The inyan of Teshuva is that this level of Elokus that fell all the way down from Kedusha. It falls down through Tzimtzum, all the way down into Klipas Noiga, Sholosh Klipas HaTmeis, because when you sin, that's where you're lowering the Chayis into Sholosh Klipas HaTmeis, and that returns back to the ultimate source where it came from. Plus.
How do you do that?
Teshuva. What?
You're just saying that all Hava is the Malek?
Yeah.
Don't you need the Keli for the Malek?
Olam Haba is bittul. There's no guf, there's no ra.
But, so then how do you have the Keli?
That's the keli.
That you don't have the Keli?
No, the keli is that there's no ra. There's a world. There's kelim, there's neshamas, there's malachim. There are kelim. Okay, skipped a few lines. In order, it says the ultimate is, like it says, the ultimate is his hapcha to transform the chayis that's in klipa all the way back to kedusha, and therefore it doesn't matter even if you don't sin, right? Like the Chassidus explains, the concept of tshuva is not only for avedas, and therefore Mashiach lasovet tzaddikai b'tiyuf, the Mashiach is going to get even tzaddikim to do tshuva, because tshuva in essence is taking the chayis eliki, the godly chayis that's in this world. Forget sins. Chazir shows Shkitas HaTmeis is elukus, limited all the way down.
And you can transform it back.
Even there's nothing to do with Avedas. You can, through the Aved of Meshach Zman HaGolus, you elevate, eventually when Mashiach comes, even Shosh Shkitas HaTmeis. But you come to his hapcha first, to transform evil, you have to break its power. So first you need a skafia. Skafia means breaking evil. That means I want to do something, I don't do it. Or I don't want to do something, I have to, I do it.
Negative.
Huh?
Negative, come on.
Yeah, well, positive and negative. And if I don't want to do a positive mitzvah and I break myself and I do it, no, so that's a skafia. So you skafia, you break evil, and then you can, and he said, "V'tzorach liyas tchilas skafia, hainu sha'av es dvarim zorim bepel mamish," that the love to foreign things should be a skafia of, like you said, don't look after your eyes and heart that cause you to sin. Zaina, what is liyas zaina macharehem? What does the concept of zaina mean? Mishali belohot achad dvarim zorim. Zaina doesn't only mean a prostitute. Zaina, he says here, means that a person whose heart is drawn for worldly desires, could be kosher desires, doesn't matter. Even the bodily things that you do need, eating, sleeping, whatever. He says, it shouldn't be with the inflamed excitement of the heart. It should be done coldly, as if a demon calls him to do it. So he says, what's the whole, how do you come to this happa? The ultimate goal, he says, of Teshuva, and he's explaining, Hashem created this world really for the sake of Teshuva. Because in Olam Haba you can't do Teshuva. Only in this world can you. And he explained why, because it comes from Sefer. And therefore he says, the halach is, the Rambam says, Yisrael oisin Teshuva, umiyad hin negolim. Through Teshuva you're immediately redeemed. Why? Because the whole purpose of this world is to transform Klipa to Kedusha, should become Mola Oretz Deus Hashem, full of understanding of Elokus, and that level exists through Teshuva. And therefore the whole purpose is Teshuva, and the only way to come to Teshuva is by realizing that even the worldly things we do because we have to do it, not because we want to do it. Like the Alter Rebbe brings down in Tanya, when Hillel went to eat, he told his Talmidim, I'm going to ligmol chesed imo aluva. I'm going to do kindness to the shamed one. And he said, in Yiddish, you warfen a bendel, There's an expression, you have to throw a dog a bone also. You have to make the dog happy also. In Yiddish expression, warf dem a beindel, you throw him a bone. So it says, Hillel said, okay, listen, I have a body, I gotta give him also a little bit. So that's the attitude somebody should be. And this power of desire that the heart has, Yisapech Lashem Levade, should be transformed only talukus, like it says, Val Ishech Shukasech, Uzaisi Kare Isha. Interesting. What does it say? When Hashem created Chava, after the sin, so Hashem said to him, Val Ishech Shukasech. Your fire you should desire. And that's what he says, L'zais yikare Isha, because Isha is Eish Hey, the fire of Hashem. So it says like this, the person has desires to worldly things. So first you have to break it, because in Olam Haba there's no breaking, there's no transformation. So this world you have to break evil, and then you could transform it. So how do you break evil? Through the realization that I'm eating because I have to eat. Not because I like it, I want it, doesn't matter what I eat, how I eat, but I need to eat, I have to be alive, I have to be healthy, you need to eat. You need to sleep because you sleep. And then but not only that, then you take the tshuka, that desire, the desire aspect, not what you desire. The desire aspect that you take, you transform it to Kedusha. This is all two very important things. Number one, the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya the concept of Rav Tvus B'Koyach Shor. If you want to get the pasuk says Rav Tvus B'Koyach Shor. If you want to get a lot of grain grown, you have to use animals to plow the field and not people. So it's obvious. I don't need a pasuk to tell me that if you want to plow a field, an animal is better than a person. So obviously the pasuk is telling us something very significant. So the Alter Rebbe explains all over the place that Rav Tvus B'Koyach Shor means as follows. The Nefesh Shulakis is Adam, Nefesh Shabamis is Behema. Now the midas, the emotions of an animal are much stronger than the emotions of a human. Why? Because human intellect automatically cools off the excitement of a midah. Therefore, you ever see when somebody gets very excited, you say, cool it? When you cool it? Calm down. How do you calm down? By realizing, it's not using your seichel. Seichel cools midas. Seichel limits midas. Animals, because they don't have seichel, they have instinct, but they don't have seichel. So when they have a midah, it's very powerful. Like man's best friend is called a dog. Today they're even higher than people. But Kelev, it says, is kulei lev. Kelev, chof lamed beis, is kulei lev. There's no intellect, okay? So the midas of an animal are stronger than the midas of a person. Therefore, the love, not what they love, the attribute of love and fear, etc., by an animal is much more powerful than it is by a human. Because the human has seichel that calms it down. The midah is much stronger by an animal. Because they don't have seichel to calm it down. So he says, Rav Tvus B'Koyach Shor means like this. Once you transform, you break the taiva of evil. Okay, let's say I want food. Okay, let's say. So you break that wanting of food, but you still have the wanting. Now when you transform that midah of wanting to want Kedusha, it's not only double, that you have first only the Nefesh Elokis, now you have also the Nefesh Shabamis. It's Rav Tvus B'Koyach Shor. You get much more Ava by transforming the Nefesh Shabamis to love Elokus than you have with the Nefesh Elokis itself. That's one thing. Then there's another basic question that the Rebbe explains, but if you think about it, it's such a basic question, nobody asks it. The simple questions nobody asks. In Tanya, the Alter Rebbe explains what's the difference between an incomplete tzaddik and a complete tzaddik. An incomplete tzaddik kills the Yetzer Hara, and then the tzaddik gomer transforms the Yetzer Hara Nefesh Habahamis to Kedusha. Yeah? The question is, if you killed it, how can I transform it? It's killed. I killed it. So, something dead you can't transform. So what does it mean, a tzaddik gomer, if I already killed the Yetzer Hara? So how can I transform the Yetzer Hara to Kedusha? So the Rebbe explains that this is exactly what we just explained. You killing the Yetzer Hara means, what the tzaddik eino gomer kills the Yetzer Hara means, I don't have any desire to evil. So what am I killing? Not the desire. I'm killing the desire of evil. That's what I'm killing. I don't want evil anymore. Not like a Beinoni that wants it but breaks himself and doesn't do it. The tzaddik she'eino gomer kills the Yetzer Hara means I have no desire anymore to worldly things. But the desire is still there. That you don't kill. Now the tzaddik gomer transforms the desire, and then instead of, okay, I don't want any more evil, but where's the desire going? So the tzaddik gomer transforms it, that now the desire is for Kedusha. And that's what the Alter Rebbe is saying there. First you have iskafia. After you have iskafia, then you come to the level of isapcha, el ishech shukasech, and it says, that's why, okay? The Alter Rebbe is explaining. Ish is a shud. Isha is a shei. So, you have the eish mumayla, and then you have the eish mumata. Because again, yud is masculine. So there's the eish that comes from above. Like on the Mizbeach, there was a fire from heaven, the gachalas that fell down min hashemayim in the days of Shlomo HaMelech, and then you have the eish lamata. So it says, Val ishech shukosech, therefore she's called Isha, because the fire of the neshama down here, the hay, the feminine, milmata l'mayla, that is longing for the eish l'mayla. Shenoy sefer mitchila v'zeh yofa shachas b'tshuva ma'asim tevim be'elam hazeh. That tshuva ma'asim tevim be'elam hazeh is better than olam haba, ki chaya olam haba b'chinas gilim mamala kolam. Gilim olam haba is mamala that comes from malchus. Like it says, Yachid Chei Ha'elamim Melech Meshubachim Fadi Hashmei Agoda. What does that mean? We say in Baruch Shaman. Yachid Hu Levada Yizbarich. We say Yachid, Hashem is alone. Then we say Chei Ha'elamim, He's giving life of the world. That's when Elokus comes down. And where does that Chei Ha'elamim come from? From Melech. Therefore it's interesting. If you look in our Nusach, we say Yachid Chei Ha'elamim Melech, period. Meshubachim Farad Yad Shmei Agoda. In a lot of other Siddurim, Nusach Ashkenaz, it says Yachid Chei Ha'elamim Melech. No, I'm sorry, Yachid Chei Ha'elamim, period. Melech Meshubachim Farad Yad. Right? So Melech goes on later. But the way the Alter Rebbe is explained, it has to go before. Because what do we say? That's why Apri Kabbalah, the Alter Rebbe wrote the Siddur, Apri Kabbalah and everything. So he writes Yachid, then Chei Ha'elamim Melech. So if Hashem is Yachid, where does Chei Ha'elamim come from? From the level of Melech, Malchus, Tzimtzum. Then you have Meshubachim Farad Yashmei Agoda. Otherwise it doesn't make sense. Yachid, Chei Ha'elamim. How can from Yachid be Chei Ha'elamim? Because the lower love, which is for Gashmis, the fact that it fell so low is because it came from a higher place. That's what made it fall so low. So when you transform that Ava of world to Kedusha, you're actually transforming a higher level of Kedusha that fell lower, and therefore you're reaching a higher level than before.
That's why you can go to and say Chei Haolamim as opposed to Chai Haolamim, or is it different?
No, it's two different words.
Some people say
Chei Olamim means the life of the worlds. But there's Amuna L'Chai Olamim means one that lives forever. Chai is life. Chai, the life of. That's diktuk, but it's Hebrew grammar. I mean, it's not the... No, diktuk, sometimes you have a word because it's after this letter, it's this... At the end of a pasuk, yeah, it's molach, not melech. Oh no, but there's different. You have Mordechai, Mordechai. Okay, that's the same word. If it's the end of the pasuk, grammatically it's Mordechai. It doesn't change the name. But Chai and Chai is a different meaning. So he says, only comes in the level of Melech. And Washu Meshubach Mefradei Ad Hudak Shmei Hagodol. Okay, what is praised forever? Only the name of Hashem. But Tshuva reaches the essence of Hashem. That's the level of Sefer Kol Almin. So he says like this. When we say Yachid Chei Olam Melech, Meshubach Mefer Adei Yad Shmei Hagodol. Yeah. So Yachid means no world. Ein Eid Mulvadi. Or some people say Ein Eid Mulvadi. Okay, Yachid. Then you have the level Chei Olamim. Where does the life of the world come from? From the level of Melech. Malchus. Tzimtzum. Therefore, Meshubach Mefer Adei Yad Shmei Hagodol. What's revealed is only the level of Shmei Hagodol. Sefer Kol Almin is a hidden world, but it's a much greater level. V'zeu Shuvi Yisrael Ad Hashem Elokecha. That's what the pasuk says. Shuvi Yisrael Ad Hashem Elokecha. So simply, the pasuk means return to God. Shuvi Yisrael Ad Hashem Elokecha. Right after Pasha B'Shuva. Shuvi Yisrael Ad Hashem Elokecha. The way it's translated. Return to Hashem. But grammatically that's incorrect. Ad means until. Le Hashem Elokecha. It should have said Shuvi Yisrael Le Hashem Elokecha. To Hashem. Ad means until. You don't return until God. So the Alter Rebbe is explaining what does it mean. Shuva Yisrael, the level of Tshuva is how much Ad until Havaya becomes a Lekecha. That Seviv becomes a Mamala. That your Chayis comes from Seviv. So that is not saying return to God. What is the level of Tshuva? The level of Tshuva, you have to do Tshuva Ad until. Ad. Shavaya Erdin Tzava Seviv Kol Almin should be a Lekecha, which is the creation of the word Mamala. Valderech Zen Nama V'afta Shem Lekecha. You should love Hashem, that Rabbi becomes a Lekecha. The Koyal Echad, and the pasuk Yahavta goes on the word Echad before, meaning Echad V'Yahavta. I know Yachid, which is the level of Seviv Kol Almin, should be in a level of Gili and Olam Melech, which is Yichud Tata, which is Yichud Tata. Which is basically, not necessarily, but generally speaking, Yichud Ilah is Sefer Kol Almin, Yichud Tata is Mamala Kol Almin. So what do we do that Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad is Yichud Ilah? He doesn't here speak about Baruch Shem. But then V'Yahavta is Hashem Elokecha, that's the level of Yichud Tata. V'Anu Lekash Liyeh Yachad to unite Yichud Ilah and Yichud Tata.